we'll come to Nnamdi Kanu's arrest and travails, if we may, and the controversies surrounding that. But let's shift our attention to the Petroleum and Industry Bill. It was passed only 2 days ago. After breaking a 13-year jinx. I understand it was first presented to the National Assembly on more than 13, somewhere in 2008. The historic passage of this bill also has some controversies. Victor, let me begin with you. You are from the Niger Delta region. You belong to, the producing region. How are you receiving this news of this passage?
It's a bad news. It's a bad news, and it's going to create more problems because the people demanded for 10%. The people demanded for 10%, but they are giving the 3%. And the people from the other divide, they are very quick to say that they are giving them 30%. You give somebody what belongs to him. It is only in this country that you say somebody from somewhere will be the one giving. We should cast our mind back to the First Republic, where we are praising Awolowo for using cocoa money to develop, to give the Yorubas free education. Did anybody give Awolowo derivation? No. He used the money from cocoa at that time. He will harness the money and give 50% to the federal government and hold on to 50%. And at that time, himself and Ahmadu Bello were agitating that it should be increased to 70%. The same people now, wait, let me finish, please. The same people now are saying that 30% is enough, that they have given them, what are they using them for? We're using 30% for. And we are asking the same people, the 87% that remains, what have you been using it for? Has it given us good roads in this country? Has it given us good education? Has it given us agriculture? Has it given us railway system? Has it given us security? You are asking people that you get the 30%, they cannot account for it. You are holding on to 87%. What have you done with it? And again, do we supposed to be giving something to people? The other time you asked me the same question when we were driving in your car, and I asked you, if you own this car now, do you supposed to take permission from me before you drive your own car? You said no. I said, why? You say you are giving to them. Why should you give to them? So people are managing their board in this country now and giving the money to themselves all over the country. You see, they are managing their board, giving the money to themselves. But the only money is for everybody. And you see, they will peace. They will not be peace in such a country. We are just deceiving ourselves.
Let's simplify this for our viewers. Let's simplify this. The Senate approved 3%. The House of Representatives approved 5%. Let's make our viewers, Dr. Dayo, help us if you can. Let's even understand help us make sense of these statistics. 3% Senate, 5% House of Reps. We understand it is supposed to be harmonized at some point. Hopefully we'll get there in the coming weeks. But help us make sense of these statistics and the derivation, which it doesn't seem very comfortable. I mean, there's someone from the region.
You see, I wouldn't want to be sentimental, and to that extent, there are two ways to the issue of grant. The first, this PIB have been on for long, but now the jinx has been broken. And what I want to tell him is this: 1,000 miles journey starts with a step. A step has been taken. Even me, when I was going through that bill, when you look at
I'm wondering which of the bills now, because there are different versions of that bill. So we're going to understand
the one in the Senate and in the House of the two national assemblies, okay? Both the Senate and House of Reps. When you look at that 104 subsection 2 or so, where it was talking about flaring of gas, and they are saying, look, when you flare gas, you are going to be penalized. The penalty still goes to the government, rather than where that thing is causing problems. All right? But the beauty of it is that some people have said, look, we're going to harmonize what has happened in that passage. But then the question also to him is this: if you are saying you are disagreeing, don't you have representatives there? What did they do?
They spoke now.
Listen now, listen. No, we are trying to break these things down because we need to be careful. The way we educate the people.
There was a bit of
definitely yes. Definitely yes. What did they do? And despite that rowdiness, despite their rejection of it, what are they going to do next to ensure that the people that elected them, their voices are being taken into cognizance? All right? So that is the issue. I mean, that is the area where I always talk about what are our roles as a people when it comes to legislation and all these bills. That is one aspect. The second aspect, Kelly, not until when we allow justice in this country, there's not likely to be peace. Justice in terms of how can somebody from elsewhere come around and tell me that he wants to control the resources of my father's land, the resources of my own household? We have been saying, look, let there be resource control. When there is resource control within,
and that's captured in the bill.
Do you understand? It's not captured. The resource should be controlled by the states that those resources are domiciled in. Let them control it. Then they can now give part of it to the federal. And that is part of what we are saying as regards restructuring. The moment there is resource control, even though when there is resource control, what will the leaders do with it?
Let us get to that point first.
What will the leaders do with it? The one that they are being given, what are they using for?
He has used that one. What are they using for? Permission from me before you drive your car. If you have brought your car now, you will take from me. I will hold the key so that you know what is happening. I will take the key from you so you will take permission from me before you drive.
Any senator may challenge the opinion of the president or the chairman by claiming a division. 2. If the opinion of the president of the Senate or in the committee of the whole Senate, the chairman as to the division of a question is challenged, the president of the Senate or the chairman shall direct that the lobbies be cleared, and on such direction being given, all doors leading to the chamber shall be locked, and the division bell shall be rung for 1 minute.
It is the envy of all those people who do not wish this nation well to now start embarking or dividing ourselves along direction and along lines and along certain fault lines. I think that is a path to Armageddon. I appeal to my brother and friend, distinguished Senator Joseph Kibo, to please withdraw this point of order.
We are talking about 5%. The 5% is not too much. You have headed this place very well. We admire your administrative style. We agree with you on almost every issue. This one is a very naughty one, Mr. President. Very naughty. You are our leader. We are your followers. Please, Mr. President, lead us very well. This particular case that is before us is something that is very bitter for us to swallow.
And you know that procedurally in Parliament, you cannot jump the gun. And Sekibo knows that his own position does not conform with the intendment of the provision of that rule. He knows. Let me try my best to say that we must never exhibit to Nigerians that we are incapable of offering the desired leadership at this critical moment.
A bill for an act to provide legal governance, regulatory and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry, the development of host communities, and for related matters 2021-30 been taken, and the bill is passed. Well, distinguished colleagues, let me thank all of us for this tremendous and historical achievement of passing the long-awaited Petroleum Industry Bill.
All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The bill has been passed. It awaits the assent by Mr. President. Still in the House, political technocrat Dr. Dayo Kayode is still here. Victoria, public affairs analyst, is also here. You cannot imagine. It's been 1 hour of intense debates. I've been struggling really hard to ensure that we calm their nerves. Victor, let's come back to you.
Okay.
Because you just raised an issue which was something I was also very concerned about. It has to do with the fact that even the communities where this pipe goes through are also supposed to benefit. You don't seem too comfortable with that, but isn't this an attempt by the government to unite us?
Okay. Crude oil is being produced somewhere. The people there are the ones suffering the degradation, gas flaring, that is giving them different kinds of sicknesses. They were so magnanimous to the extent, okay, oh, you also need this thing. The pipe is going to pass through your land so that it can give you. Mm-hmm. You are not producing it, oh, you are going to share the same, get the same percentage, 3%. To you, is that justifiable? Okay, the people suffering the degradation, and those who just pipe that will pass through your land is not going to,
because occasionally there's oil spillage in those pipes.
But is it as much? Will it be as much as the people suffering?
So
there should be difference, at least those who are suffering.
All right, so let's get it. So
there is no difference.
It shouldn't be the same.
It is 3%. And you say, okay, you are from that environment too. Can you go to farm in your place? You can no longer go to farm. You can no longer fish. You see, we used to be fishermen. But now you say the same people will get the same percentage, and you call that
one a percentage.
Equitable distribution.
All right.
No problem. If it is going to guarantee peace, let us
Victor, I'm staying with you again. No representatives from the region, which you also belong to, were in that house.
Yeah, they spoke. You saw James manager speaking against it. But what is the number? The number of the people from that region. You know that the people from the other side, both from the southwest, they are all gang up together because they are benefiting. They left their cocoa, they left their granola and every other thing. Right. So they always gang up against that place. Right. So when they are debating, it's not allegation, it's the truth. Go and check the ratio of the people who supported this.
All right, thank you so much.
Very few people.
Let me ask this question. We are pressed for time, so we have to begin to wind down our conversation. When the North produced granules and we depended on that part of the region for sustenance and before oil was discovered, how was it shared? Any ideas as to how it was shared? Any ideas as to how it was distributed and all of that?
Yeah, you see, at that time you were having groundnut in the north. In the west, you were having cocoa and rubber. Because inclusive of old Benin State then, the western region, inclusive of Bendel, rubber and cocoa. Then in the east, in Calabu, you were having coal, palm oil, and all that. But at that time, we were having a kind of regionalism, whereby each region controls its resources. Until 1966, when some unitary form of government was being introduced. All right? And if you also go and look at that history of beginning of that unitary form of government, you will see which region supported it at that time. You will see which region propagated it, that unitary form of government. Unfortunately, the thing is now working against that particular region. Even though, between you and me, I still strongly believe that we should go back to that regional form of government. Okay. Now, much as I share his sentiment, I also want him to go back to that history that I just mentioned. Google it and see. If you don't have, I will send it to you. But listen, but essentially, Kelly, essentially, all these things wouldn't have been a big deal if only we have a government that can purposefully unify this country. All along, we have always been egocentric. It has always been, yes, it has to be my region. It has to be this one region. When this one commits crime, they will say, it's because it's from this region. That is it. When that one commit, and they have forgotten that these same people, they are the ones that are using both religion and tribe to divide we the people. And that is why I pointed it to him. Not until when we can put behind us our idiosyncrasies as it concerns ethnicity, religion, economy, and even political tenets, we are going to move forward. All
right, guys, I'd like to, in 30 seconds or less, what are your concluding thoughts on the PNIB? It's been passed, of course. It's almost certain that Mr. President is going to ask them to, but we're not sure which version is going to come out when the president is going to.
He's going to harmonize it before he gets to president.
In 30 seconds, Victor, what are your predictions or productions?
Well, they should see reason and accept that 10% that the people, the host communities are demanding for.
Okay.
Because as I've rightly said, in the past, the people who produced groundnut cocoa, they got 50%, and they were even asking for 70% before the military struck at that time. So if 50% was good for them, was not enough for them, and they were asking for
how much more now?
For 70%. So why should they say that 30% is too much? And again, they should look inward. No, it's not. They should look inward. Their goal that they are minding secretly, they should bring it up. Allegation. So that it's not allegation. Can you show the budget where you go this account of anything?
Your thoughts.
You see, much as I share sentiment,
it's not sentiment. It's a fact. I want using that word. Right. It's not right. It's not sentiment. It's a fact.
He has the floor, please. Let's go ahead.
I want the National Assembly to be sincere in whatever they are doing, because whatever they have done today is going to be history tomorrow. At the same time, we also have to look at it. Since when have we been trying to pass this PIB? And we have not been able to do it. Close to 15 or more years. Then, we should now realize that now that it's about being passed, 1,000 miles journey, start with a solitary step. Then we will always have, the next assembly will have something that they can work on and improve upon. Either we like it or not. Okay. We keep on improving. We keep on moving forward. Yes. But then, we need patience. We need peace. And we need sincerity.